Hey everyone, The Last of Us is back for Season 2, which gets underway with a Lay of the Land episode that serves mainly to get a lot of the 5-year time jump exposition out of the way. Who are the new faces? What's life in Jackson like after all this time? And most importantly, how are Joel and Ellie half a decade after he saved her life by taking so many others and lied about it? The Last of Us explain why the premiere's time jump differs from the games and other Season 2 changes. The episode opens on Joel and Ellie exactly where we left them. She makes him swear that everything he told her about the Fireflies at the hospital in Salt Lake City is true, and he lies to her and says it is. Okay, she says, and after a heavy moment, they continue on their way. This lie is the emotional core of Season 2. Joel is clinging to the idea that he saved Ellie, but that decision and the lie that followed has driven a wedge between them. You can feel the distance in the time jump. Ellie barely talks to him anymore. The show is asking, can you love someone and still lie to them? And what happens when they find out the truth? If you've played the game The Last of Us Part 2, you know that when Ellie eventually learns the truth, it shakes her world, and the consequences are massive. This moment is the spark that lights a slow-burning fuse. I personally think that Ellie already suspects the truth, even if she's not ready to face it. Her silence after Joel's answer isn't acceptance. It's a pause. She's trying to believe him, but deep down, she knows something's off. Next, we're with a group of teens standing by some Firefly graves. They're talking about the assault on the hospital. It seems like they're the only Fireflies left at their location. They talk about heading towards Seattle, where someone named Isaac will take them in. Not until we find Joel, says one of the women, Abby, played by Dope Six Caitlin Dever, who's standing a bit apart from the others. It's been 3 days since Joel took Ellie from the hospital, and Abby is angry and sad and ready for retribution. It's implied she lost someone in the attack, but we don't know who. One of the guys, Owen, points out that they don't know how or where to find Joel, and they don't have many resources, but when they do, he promises they'll help her find and kill him. Slowly, she adds, tears in her eyes. When we kill him slowly. Abby's grief isn't just about the Fireflies in general. She lost someone close in that hospital. If you know the game, you already know who. But even if you don't, her raw emotion tells us it was deeply personal. The show is setting up a parallel journey between Ellie and Abby. Both young women, both carrying trauma, and both shaped by violence and revenge. It's genius storytelling. We're going to watch two people on a collision course, each thinking they're the hero of their story. This one moment sparks an entire cycle of violence, pain and loss. Just like Joel's choice to save Ellie had ripple effects, so will Abby's need for vengeance. This isn't just personal, it's thematic. It's about what revenge does to people. This is the foundation of the entire season's emotional arc. It's not just about monsters and infection, it's about the cost of love. The hunger for justice and how far someone will go when everything they care about is taken from them. This isn't just Abby's revenge story. It's the aftermath of Joel's choice. And it's going to change everything. Ellie's in a barn, sparring with someone bigger than her and dominating. She's training hard, taking hits, dishing them out. And when Jessie, who's overseeing the match, says her opponent went easy on her to avoid Joel's wrath, she gets visibly annoyed. Because 5 years have passed, but Ellie isn't just training to be a patrol officer. The way she throws herself into combat, how she bristles when someone suggests she's being protected, hints at something deeper. She's angry, maybe even itching for conflict. Her reaction to the Joel would be mad comment. That tells us everything. She doesn't want to be protected, especially not by Joel. Their relationship has clearly deteriorated, and that emotional distance is feeding into how she's choosing to fight and train. This isn't just stay fit training, this is be ready training. Ellie is sharpening herself for something. Either she's paranoid about danger beyond the wall with you, or she knows something's coming. I think Ellie knows the truth is coming, or at least senses it, and she's preparing for the storm it will bring. Whether it's Abby and the Fireflies or the emotional fallout from Joel's lie, Ellie is armoring herself, physically and emotionally. She's not just trying to survive, she's preparing to fight back. We see Joel working in Jackson. He's older, a bit more settled, playing the role of a community leader. When Dina pops in, we get a glimpse into Joel's current relationship with Ellie. Spoiler, it's not great, she's mad at him, and he chalks it up to typical teenage angst, but it's not that simple. Dina teases him about being in therapy, and Joel casually says, I can't hold myself responsible for another person's emotional state. Which sounds like denial, doesn't it? Joel is trying to function like everything's fine. He's in a town with a job, surrounded by people. But everything about his body language and that dada version of him screams, this is a man desperately trying to hold it together. That therapy comment, that's not just a throwaway line. The fact that Joel even needs therapy tells us he's not okay. And the fact that he's minimizing his role in Ellie's anger proves he's still avoiding the truth. Joel wants to be Ellie's father, but he's finding out the hard way. You can't have a real relationship when it's built on a lie. Ellie's distance isn't about being a moody teen. It's about the unresolved trauma and mistrust between them. I think Joel is slowly breaking under the weight of the lie he told Ellie in the Salt Lake City hospital. He saved her, but he also took away her agency. And now, 5 years later, that lie has grown roots, creating a toxic rift between them. Joel wants to move forward, but deep down he knows, until he tells the truth, nothing can truly be healed. Ellie's out on the snowy ridge with Tommy, doing target practice. It's chill until Tommy drops the bomb. She's getting pulled from patrols because Joel's worried, not about raiders or the cold, but because she's being reckless. Ellie pushes back, saying she's immune, so what's the big deal? Tommy quickly shuts that talk down. You know we don't talk about that. Still, Ellie pushes him hard enough that he gives in, letting her go on patrol if she follows orders. Her casual mention of immunity might sound like bravado, but it's actually revealing. She's still trying to make sense of her survival, her purpose. She was supposed to die to save humanity. Instead, she's alive and nothing changed. That recklessness. It's not just thrill-seeking, it's emotional. Deep down, Ellie may be daring something to kill her, or at least trying to prove to herself that her life still matters. Tommy's "we don't talk about that" line shows just how sensitive the truth about Ellie's immunity still is. Even in a safe place like Jackson, it's dangerous knowledge. If word got out, things could go south fast. Joel is pulling strings behind the scenes, getting her taken off patrols. It's not about her safety, it's about his guilt. He already took her choices once, now subconsciously he's doing it again. He wants to protect her from danger and the truth. I think Ellie's increasing recklessness isn't just a teen rebellion arc. It's the symptom of unresolved trauma, survivor's guilt, and a growing suspicion that Joel hasn't told her everything. She's testing boundaries, both physical and emotional, to find out what she's really made of and what Joel is hiding. Next up, we see Joel is helping Maria manage Jackson's rapid expansion. The town's growing fast, and he's clearly not happy about it. He argues that they need to look after your own first, suggesting the council stop letting so many people in. Maria gently hits back with a pointed reminder. You were a refugee too. Joel is. He's not really mad about town planning. He's struggling with the chaos he can't fix. Jackson is growing, the world is still dangerous, and he's already lost too much. He wants to shut out risk, just like he shut out the truth from Ellie. Joel was a refugee. He needed someone to take him in. That makes his stance hypocritical, and that's exactly the point. He can't see the parallel because he's too stuck in survival mode. The look after your own first line, that's not about Jackson, that's about Ellie. He slaughtered a hospital full of people to save her. He's built his entire moral compass around the idea that protecting Ellie justifies everything, even murder. This scene shows how that belief is bleeding into everything he does. I think Joel's stance against taking in refugees is a projection of his unresolved guilt and fear. He's built a mental wall around Jackson and around Ellie to protect what he thinks is his. But that protective instinct is becoming toxic, isolating, and unsustainable. Joel isn't just worried about town expansion, he's scared of what happens when he lets more people in, both literally and emotionally. This is a man still clinging to a lie, trying to protect a peace he knows is fragile. And the bigger Jackson grows, the more his illusion of control slips. Maria's line, "You were a refugee too," cuts through his facade and forces him to confront the very truth he's been avoiding. He's not the hero of this story. He's a survivor. And sometimes survivors become the problem. The next scene is packed with emotional depth and hidden layers. On the surface, it's Joel's therapy session. But beneath it, it's a masterclass in guilt, denial, and the raw need for forgiveness. Joel meets with Gail, his therapist, whom he pays in marijuana, classic post-apocalypse bartering. She's grieving her husband, Eugene. And we find out Joel killed him. It's intense, it's messy, and it hits right at Joel's core issue, his silence. Gail bluntly says, "You are definitely leaving something out." And she's right, he is. He hasn't told anyone the truth about the hospital, not Ellie, not Gail, not even himself, really. Gail becomes Joel's moral mirror. She represents the cost of Joel's decisions. Her husband was one of the many lives Joel took to save Ellie, and now Joel has to sit across from that grief every week. It's not just therapy, it's penance. He can't be honest, not in therapy, not with Ellie, not with himself. And Gail calls it out. You can't heal something unless you're brave enough to say it out loud. This is more than advice. It's a challenge. Joel's one line is devastating. When pushed to say what he did, when he's trembling, choked up on the edge of truth, he only says, "I saved her." That line isn't just evasive, it's his truth, his justification. He sees himself as a savior, not a destroyer, because accepting the full truth means admitting that he chose one girl over the world. It's not something he can face yet, but it's haunting him. This session proves Joel is internally unraveling. The guilt is there. We see it in his tears, in his silence, in how he can't even look Gail in the eye. But rather than confess, he doubles down on the lie he told Ellie that he saved her. No nuance, no remorse. Just that one line, clung to like a life raft. It's a boiling point. It's Joel face to face with the consequence of his so-called heroic decision, and it's not forgiving him. Gail literally says, "I can't forgive you, not because of what you did, but how you did it." That line echoes Ellie's unspoken pain too, and it foreshadows something big. The world might understand what Joel did, but it will never forget how he did it. Next scene may seem quiet and sweet on the surface, but it's a subtle, super important turning point in Ellie's character arc, emotionally, romantically, and thematically. Ellie's in her garage, cleaning her gun, headphones on, classic post-outbreak mood. Dina shows up to pick her up for patrol. There's clear warmth between them, but more importantly, we see nervous energy from Ellie. When Dina helps her adjust her holster, Ellie practically freezes. It's so soft and intimate, and Ellie doesn't know how to handle it. Later on patrol, the two chat away from the group. We get some backstory. Dina and Jesse just broke up. Again. Ellie has a crush, and confirmed, Ellie is a lesbian. We see Ellie's first real human connection in years since Joel rescued her from the hospital. Ellie's been living in emotional isolation. She doesn't talk to Joel, she doesn't open up to anyone, until Dina. Dina is her safe space, her warmth in a cold world. That's not just romance, that's survival. It establishes a core relationship for the season. This isn't a background crush. This relationship is going to be the beating heart of Ellie's story going forward. It'll challenge her, ground her, and, as we know from the game, eventually test her in devastating ways. Ellie's vulnerability is a big deal. The fact that she gets flustered, bashful, even awkward around Dina, that's huge, because Ellie's entire persona right now is closed off, tough girl. But around Dina, she lets her guard down just a little. And that means healing might be possible. I think this scene marks the beginning of Ellie's emotional reawakening. Her feelings for Dina aren't just teen crush vibes. They represent a possible path out of the trauma. Dina sees her, understands her, makes her laugh. But there's also a subtle tension. Ellie doesn't name her crush. Why? Because she's scared. Of rejection maybe, but also scared that if she opens herself up again, like she did with Riley, like she did with Joel, it might all fall apart. Again, love stories in The Last of Us aren't just side plots. They're where the real character work happens. Ellie's crush on Dina isn't a distraction. It's a lifeline. It's her reaching out, hoping someone will reach back. And in a world full of death, grief, and silence, a spark like this is everything. The conversation is interrupted by the group coming across some blood in the snow. It looks like some infected took down a bear and are hiding out in an old grocery store. Dina and Ellie volunteer to go inside, and they have a very funny pantomime about how they're going to proceed. Then Ellie takes down an infected. Easy peasy, right? Except she then falls through the rotting floor, and while she's waiting for Dina to find a way down to help her out, Ellie encounters a female infected that seems to have the ability to fight strategically instead of just by brute force, gnashing teeth. And though Ellie eventually dispatches her, the infected takes a bite of Ellie's belly first. Ellie hides the nip from Dina, and then they report what they've seen to the council before Ellie heads home for a little standing self-surgery. She cuts the bite off her abdomen. Yep, still a badass. That night, Ellie and Dina arrive at the Jackson community's New Year's Eve dance. The place is cozy but lively, lit by fairy lights, filled with people trying to find a sense of normal in a post-apocalyptic world. Dina looks amazing, Ellie looks nervous, and from the jump it's clear there's something simmering between them. They grab drinks, they dance a bit, and Ellie is clearly trying not to make it obvious that she's completely smitten. For a second it seems like maybe this could be the moment. Then they kiss. Not just a quick one, but a moment full of honesty, attraction, and vulnerability. It's the first real sign of romance between them, and for Ellie, who's been closed off emotionally and carrying so much pain and isolation, this moment matters. This is the first time we see Ellie in a moment of emotional connection since the 5-year time jump. It's raw, real, and gives us insight into her deeper feelings, especially after so much distance from Joel. It's a bold, clear acknowledgement of Ellie's identity as a lesbian, continuing what was subtly shown in The Last of Us, Left Behind DLC in Season 1. This adds richness and authenticity to her character arc. Ellie and Dina's connection is going to be a central thread in Season 2. This kiss sets the tone for the emotional stakes ahead: love, fear of loss, and the beauty that can still exist in a broken world. But Seth's bigotry disrupts the moment just as Ellie and Dina share their first tender kiss, a beautiful, rare moment of joy in their lives. It's shattered by a harsh, gruff voice behind them. Seth. Played by Robert John Burke, Seth instantly makes himself their most hated guy in the room. In just a few seconds, his whole demeanor screams intolerance, and he proves it by hurling a homophobic slur at Ellie and Dina for dancing and kissing on the floor. It's aggressive, loud, and public, a moment meant to humiliate and wound. Even though Jackson is supposed to be a safe, inclusive haven, this scene reminds us that hate still exists even after the fall of civilization. There's no such thing as total safety, emotionally or physically, even in a place that feels like home. This moment sets off a chain reaction. Joel sees what's happened and immediately steps in to confront Seth, defending Ellie without hesitation. It's his quiet way of saying, "I've got your back, even if their relationship is fractured." This will become a key part of what follows between them. For Ellie, this abrupt shift from joy to shame is deeply personal. It brings back her fear of being seen, judged, and othered, issues she's wrestled with before. It also hints that no matter how far she runs or how much time has passed, her identity still makes her a target. Joel, from out of frame, charges in and shoves Seth to the ground. It's raw, instinctive, and protective. The Joel we know, the one who solves problems with action, with force, with fists. But this isn't the hero moment he thinks it is. As Seth is escorted out by Maria, Joel turns to Ellie, expecting maybe thanks, or at least understanding. Instead, Ellie explodes. "What's wrong with you? I don't need your king help." She's furious, not just at Seth, but at Joel. Not because he defended her, but because he did it his way. Why this scene hits so hard? Well, because Joel believes protecting Ellie physically is what matters most, but Ellie doesn't want to be saved. She wants to be seen. His intervention to her feels like control, like he still sees her as someone who needs rescuing. She's angry because he misses the point entirely. This isn't just about one moment, it's the years of unresolved trauma between them. It's about trust, lies, and the emotional distance they haven't healed since Salt Lake. Joel showing up for her physically just reminds her that he hasn't shown up emotionally in the ways she needed. In part one, Ellie leaned on Joel constantly for survival, but now 5 years later she wants autonomy, she wants agency. His defense, though well-meaning, strips that away in her eyes. When Ellie returns home, Joel is waiting. He's sitting on the porch, guitar in hand, an echo of the many peaceful, healing moments they've shared in the past. That guitar isn't just an instrument, it's a symbol of their bond, of the lullabies he once promised, of their unspoken love, of everything he's been too afraid or too late to say. But tonight, she walks past him without a word. The silence between them is deafening. It's not anger anymore, it's distance, wounds still open, regret thick in the air. Joel is trying in his own way to bridge the gap, but Ellie's not ready, not yet, and that's heartbreaking. Then that chilling happened. Cordyceps under the town, their tendrils curling up through the town's underbelly. Alive, twitching, invasive. It's a warning. This peaceful, growing community of Jackson is sitting on top of danger, both literally and metaphorically. Underneath all the progress, the therapy sessions, the dances, and the attempts to rebuild normal life, the infection, the violence, the past, it's all still there, waiting. And as if the town's problems weren't enough, Abby and her group arrive at the gates, hidden by night. They're not here for shelter. They're here for Joel. This moment seals it. Everything we've seen, Joel's guilt, Ellie's hurt, their fractured bond, it's all about to collide with the vengeance coming their way. The past is coming back with vengeance, and it's closer than anyone realizes. This moment is the calm before the storm, but the silence here screams louder than any gunshot. Abby's eyes are full of pain. She's not just a villain, she's someone who's lost, someone driven by the same cycle of grief and retribution that Ellie herself will eventually know too well. Oh, this episode, phenomenal. One of those rare hours of television where everything simmers just beneath the surface. Emotions, tension, danger, and you can feel it building the entire time. The episode masterfully deals with the emotional fallout from the Salt Lake City incident. Joel's guilt, Ellie's silence. It's thick in the air, and you can tell both of them are suffocating in it. The scene with Joel on the porch and the unspoken tension there, absolutely heartbreaking. He wants to fix it, but he doesn't know how, and Ellie's just not ready to let him in. They did an amazing job showing how much Jackson has evolved, not just in size, but in culture. From Joel being in therapy to Ellie being scolded for being reckless, and even small moments like the dance, it feels like a functioning, messy, flawed society trying to heal in a broken world. I love how the show teases the incoming storm without being obvious about it. Between the cordyceps quietly spreading and Abby's crew closing in, we know it's going to get bad. But the characters don't. That's suspense done right. Ellie and Dina chemistry is already shining, and the little nervous moments between them, so sweet and awkward and real. It's great to see Ellie open up emotionally after being so guarded, even if it's clear she's still haunted underneath it all. My favourite moment, Joel defending Ellie at the dance, then her shutting him down hard. Brutal. But it was the porch scene afterward that wrecked me. No dialogue, just pain. Overall, it's a beautifully paced, emotionally rich episode that feels like a pressure cooker ready to explode. You know, tragedy is around the corner, and yet you're begging to see how it unfolds. What about you? Any favourite moments or theories kicking around in your head after watching? Now it's your turn. What did you think of the episode? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.